Hello everyone, it is your Wish Fulfilled Friday, the section of my channel that is dedicated to getting all of you to speak up, have a voice and share your successes, because I'm going to be sharing them on my channel. I'm also going to be sharing my own too. None of us are exempt here, because it feels good to share your success story, and it doesn't matter if it's a big one or a small one. It doesn't matter if it's SP or if it's health or if it's money. It doesn't matter if it was before you knew about the law. Some of you are sharing things that were before you knew about the law, or you're sharing stories that aren't even yours, that were your grandparents' stories, but you realize how they were subconsciously using the law this whole time. So how many of you are right now on a journey whereby there's something that you really truly desire, something special, someone specific? It could be anything, right? But you've got a real desire for this, as we all start off desiring and lacking for it. And you find yourself noticing all the reasons why you can't have this. Perhaps you're putting yourself in quite a negative mindset from this. What if your specific person, for example, and like I said, this is going to apply to everything, not just SP, but what if your specific person, what if there's a big distance between you two? What if it's someone that you dated before and you have a bad history with? Or what if you never dated them before? They don't even know that you exist even. What if there's a massive, did I say distance? What if there's like age gaps? You know, what if there's third party? You see, these are the kind of things that we focus on. But it could be anything. Like if you're manifesting money, you'll be focusing on the lack of money, the bills that are going out. You know, we all do this, and it feels incredibly uncomfortable because, of course, we're not in alignment with our desire, with what we're desiring. So we have to feel sad, we have to feel mad, we have to feel uncomfortable, because we're not aligning to our higher self, of what our higher self desires. We're not in harmony with our end results. Of course it's going to feel crummy, and it's good that it does, because that's what brings your attention and focus to it. If you didn't feel crummy about it, you wouldn't do anything about it. You'd just be sitting back being like, oh well, right? Nothing would get done. Would it, Bean? Yes, that's right. Are you looking for the cat? Bean says hello and showing off his lovely fresh haircut. So let me share from my own success story. Like I said, a lot of you have grown with me on this channel. A lot of you have seen this success story come to fruition. You've actually seen it happening in real time. I think I'm in one of those very, very rare situations as well. The person that I had manifested also happens to be into spirituality and have his own channel, is, you know, into manifestation and Neville Goddard, and exactly the same as me, and teaches it, you know, with the same beliefs in the same way as I do, just from a slightly different approach and angle. So we can both talk about this quite freely and analyze the bridge in ways that not many can. So I do find this a true blessing, and I hope that you'll find this very, very helpful. It being. So stay tuned with me on this. Okay, so let's start off, right? Like I say, I'm not going to go into loads of detail because a lot of you already know this story, but we're going to spend today breaking it down. So this was my perfect person manifestation. However, it was also my specific person manifestation, because if you remember from my previous videos, although I didn't really pay that much attention to it at the time, I did specifically manifest Joseph Ally. We haven't truly figured out. He always says that his list came first, but we have no real proof of that. Did he write his perfect person list? Because he's a manifestor, right? So he was manifesting his perfect person, his wife. So he had written this list about 4 or 5 years ago. Did he write that list and then he came into my world? Or did he feel compelled to write his list because I didn't imagine or act about him? And when he was writing his list, unbeknownst to him, he was writing about me, even to the short, dark hair and all the rest of it that then compelled me to take my extensions out and cut my hair and fit his list. And it's incredible, right? But essentially, all of us are going to be moved. God, universe, higher self, whatever you call it, is playing all the parts. It's all taken care of. And as long as I am connected to my desire, it's like the rest of me just goes into this sort of autopilot, no more free will, and I'm compelled and I'm moved to take action in ways that I didn't think about, and same with my SP. And that's why there's nothing you can do to control the bridge. Leave the bridge alone, stop micromanaging it. Even if you haven't had movement for the longest time, some of you think that, oh, as time passes, I've got no movement, it's not happening. Remember what I always say, how do you know? How do you know? This story is like going to demonstrate all of that, because when his video came up on my phone, I was in my state akin to sleep, I suppose. I was in trance because I was doing the washing up. I was on autopilot. You know, you're not really focusing at that time. You're not really focusing on anything. And so I was watching Neville Goddard. Next suggested video was Joseph. he plays automatically. I don't normally watch other coaches or anything like that. I've got my marigolds on, you know, my yellow washing up gloves. I'm all soapy. So I just let it play. And I started to listen to what he was saying, and I was like, it really makes sense. It's really nice to hear someone else talking from experience. At that time, I didn't have my channel, by the way. I had ideas to have my channel, but I was way too afraid, way too shy, procrastinating, wasn't going to do it. His video comes up. I look at him and I think he's cute. I've got an attraction to him, getting sort of feelings for him. And I start to playfully imagine, daydream, whilst I'm doing the washing up. I'm not focusing on the fact that, well, he's based in America, obviously, and I'm based in the UK. He doesn't even know my existence. What if he's got a girlfriend? At that time, I didn't know that he had a girlfriend, which he did. But, you know, what if he's got a girlfriend and, you know, he looks much younger than me and stuff like that? I could have focused on all of that. I didn't at all. It didn't even come into my mind. It was a very playful, what would it be like? What would it be like if he was to like me? I wonder if he would be attracted to me. I wonder, and I would have these imaginal scenes. Actually, it was me in San Diego meeting him, interestingly enough. I remember that scene. I didn't have a long drawn out scene. It was a very like snapshot. You know, those of you who have iPhones actually will know, you know, when you take a photo, with iPhone, I think you can press the lens and the photo has a little bit of motion to it. Those were my imaginal scenes. It was like those little scenes of motion that were coming into my mind that helped me to capture a feeling, that helped me to answer the questions that I was internally posing to myself. Because those of you who know me know, I'm a lazy manifester, and I don't really have the time to sit there. Well, first of all, I would never affirm all day long. That would drive me mad. And for someone with a past of anxiety and that, I think it would really exacerbate anxiety, causes OCD for a lot of people. So I personally never use that approach, and I'm too lazy to do that tens of thousands of times a day. I also don't have the time to sit there scripting loads and loads, you know. I can't be bothered. You know, when you haven't written for a long time and then you write and you're just like, oh my goodness, my hand, I can't even write. My handwriting has become abysmal. Plus I'm left-handed. So, you know, I don't have time to sit there meditating and getting into that state and then impressing myself with a scene. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of these methods I have used and they do work. But in my later sort of older years, I've adapted to my own methods and techniques. And so this had absolutely no resistance to it. What helped for me as well, and I do acknowledge this, for those of you who are manifesting, say, for example, an ex or an outcome with someone you have history with, a family member you've known all your life, whatever it might be, there's history or there's past traumas, there's beliefs that you have from childhood that surrounds this specific desire, then I totally understand. This is why, you see, I nurture the mental health aspect. This is why I studied these modalities to form my own blends. This is why you guys have such amazing transformations when you work with me and the level of success is so high, because it's about working with the mind, not against it. There are ways to work around it. But you see, sometimes, and I'll always be honest and realistic with you guys, and you know that. I can't actually lie. One of my self-concept aspects of my self-concept is that I can't lie, because I was brought up in a very strict household with a mother that, oh my goodness, discipline was harsh and lies are a no-no. I have to be honest, even if it doesn't get the clicks, even if it puts people off, that for some of you to do an imaginal act is not going to be enough to change your state. So as much as you can do it once, as much as you can do it whilst you're washing up or driving, when you've tapped out, and you can impress yourself very effectively that way. However, I do understand as well that for maybe those of us with deeper traumas, deeper issues, old wounds and beliefs, old story, that needs to be addressed in an effective way in order for you to process it and be able to perhaps let it go enough so that at the time of imagining and changing your state, you're more able to be more open to acceptance of it, right? Because a lot of us are imagining, trying to force an outcome. I didn't imagine those scenes with Joseph thinking, oh, is it going to happen? Isn't it going to happen? I'm doing it with the intention to manifest. Like, nothing like that at all. I didn't even say I was manifesting him. I just did it because it felt good, and I dropped it. I forgot about it. Now, quite soon after impression of those imaginal acts, which by the way, because I had no resistance, it impressed upon me immediately. I then felt compelled, because God plays all the parts. We have no control, right? No free will. So suddenly my higher self is playing the part, has taken over. I'm now the person who's going to be in a relationship with this guy. So what happened was which is something I would never do, go and email him and reach out to him. I made the first move. What? No, but I did. I actually sent him an email twice because he had one email address and then I wasn't sure if he received it because of the auto response. And so I sent to another email address of his and he did not respond to it for years. Now, I could have seen it as, oh my goodness, I've been rejected, I've been dismissed, I've been ignored, or this isn't going to happen, this isn't working. Because don't forget, I didn't see any movement. There was nothing in my 3D circumstances that told me that anything was happening with regards to Joseph Ally for years. I suppose until it actually happened, really, when we first spoke on the phone. There was nothing to tell me that. Okay, so for those of you who are worried that you've got an expectancy to see movement and you're only deeming yourself a success when you do see that movement, stop limiting yourself, because movement is immediate and it's happening, but it mostly happens behind the scenes. So I couldn't tell that immediately a seed was planted in Joseph's mind, perhaps to do his perfect person list, or vice versa. A seed was planted in my mind to do those imaginal acts. Then I moved to email him. He doesn't even see it. You know, he didn't even check his emails back then. He didn't see it. So, but that email wasn't just a nothing action that I took. Everything you do, even to the coffee that you spilt on yourself the other day, everything has a purpose. Everything is so intricately interwoven. All of our bridges, all of us are playing the part, you know. I can't control everybody and play everybody like a chessboard, you know. It's not up to me. That's up to the source, higher self, whatever you call it, universe, that then might move your friend to say something, or might move you to then play your part and write an email, then might move your specific person to take action, or right? So this is what we must always remember, because when I emailed him, I could have gotten derailed and I could have thought, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? I'm ahead of myself here. I could have gotten really upset and applied all sorts of negative meanings to it. But I don't control what he does. I couldn't control him checking his emails, and I wasn't about to micromanage it going, I'm going to revise and imagine that he did check his emails, and I'm going to manifest that he checks his emails and he responds to me, because that wasn't my end. Right, so be very careful. That's a big mistake that people make. They start affirming for and imagining for their middle. You know, oh, he misses me, he's obsessed with me. Well, so what? What does that mean? That doesn't mean that you're in a relationship with that person, does it? If they miss you, the likelihood is you're not together if you keep missing each other, or if they keep missing you, or if they're obsessed with you. They could be stalking you, but not necessarily in a relationship with you, right? We don't want to mess with the middle. What do you want? Make sure whatever technique you use, whether it's affirming, whether it's scripting, whether it's visualizing, it's always going to your end. That's really, really important, because you've got to feel that. I felt my end there. So I get compelled to write these emails that he never checks. Years progress. You know, I'm already in a relationship when I've done this imaginal act, and I've already made the decision. My desire to renew that relationship, or to fix it, or to do whatever, wasn't there. My desire to break the relationship was much more stronger. Our desires come from our higher self. You've got people making all sorts of judgments about other people's desires. Oh, why do you desire that? Or you should have done it this way. No. Mind your business, right? Everyone's got different desires, and they've got their desires for a reason. Your higher self controls what you desire. You don't decide, okay? It's up to you whether you fulfill your desires. That's your free will. Do you choose to fulfill it? But we can't make judgments on other people's desires. That's up to God, higher self. It's not one mind is better than another, right? We all desire different things. I desired for that relationship to end, and so I consciously manifested that relationship to end. I wanted my house on my own. I wanted my financial independence and security. I wanted my free living room. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be, you know, on YouTube and to have my international business grow. And I wanted for all of these things. And his presence was, just as I saw it at that time, getting in the way of that. I wanted that freedom, you know. Same with Joseph. My imaginal act planted a seed that then caused Joseph to get into this relationship. So I had a third party issue, which was revealed to me on my journey when he mentioned it in a video that mentioned something that alluded to the fact that he was in a relationship. And so, of course, I could have again spiraled, oh my goodness, it's not going to work. I just dismissed it. See, that's when I knew that I changed state. I wasn't forcing it. I wasn't forcefully attaching a meaning to something. I wasn't trying to make it positive and, oh, doesn't matter, they're going to break up, and I'll affirm that they've broken up. Like, none of that. That's how you know you've changed state, because my very natural automatic go-to was a dismissal of what he said, and just like oh well, whatever. It didn't mean anything to me, because why would it? You know, I'm living in the end, right? That's what living in the end is. I'm just getting on with my life. But my very natural reactions to things that happen that sort of suggest the opposite of my desire, I'm able to dismiss it. Might still get triggered from time to time, but that doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong. I'm still able to kind of realign myself, refocus, and be like, oh, I got triggered, I got upset because someone said something that goes against my desire, or someone did something that perhaps acts as a blocker. But that's not where my focus continues to be, even if I do get triggered. So I didn't get triggered at all, actually. I remember just dismissing it. So I didn't really get triggered when he didn't email me back. I was a bit disappointed and stuff. I did wonder, but didn't stick around on that. Didn't focus on the fact that he had a girlfriend, and I was just getting on with my life because I had other desires and intentions and fulfillments to be met. He had this relationship. I must have manifested her in, because I'd already decided that I'm not going to move, you know. So I needed for him to move, I suppose. So she played her part perfectly. God plays all the parts, and had to bring in someone who had such serious mental condition, almost that exhibited psychotic behaviors. Bless her, you know, not her fault sort of thing. But again, at the same time, she was perfect to play that part. To then cause such a, what's the word? To give him a bad taste in his mouth, as he puts it, that he would be quite happy to start a new life, to come over, you know, because you've got friends and family and stuff. It's a big decision to make, to move country for someone, right? But of course, love is strong. When you love someone, I've got friends, friends, and I'm sure you guys have known too, of people that have moved. They'll move oceans to find you, to be with you. Why wouldn't they? You know, love is that powerful. That's why it can destroy us so much. That's why so many of you are on this manifesting a specific person or a perfect person and you'll invest so much time, effort, energy, money into it. It's the driving force. That's why I nurture it, and the mental health aspect of it is so important. So please realize that if it is a detriment to your mental health, then do take a step back and make sure you nurture that first and foremost. That's much more important. But needless to say, she played her part beautifully, so that when they broke up, it pushed him to start to be shaped and molded into the kind of person that I desired. Because around this time, I was also then setting my intentions for my perfect person, just like he had set his intentions for his perfect person. So I was moved to change. I went through my own traumatic end to my relationship. That's how the bridge panned out. Nothing to do with me or my self-concept or anything like that. I've proven that many, many times. But my bridge panned out. Like I say, we don't control people. You don't control your bridge of events. So something like that trauma that put me into PTSD, it was awful. But had it not been for that trauma, I mean, like I said, I was sitting, procrastinating about whether or not to start my channel. Now I'm suddenly in fight or flight. I'm suddenly in a place where, oh my God, if I don't take action, I could lose my house, and I'm not going to lose my house. If I don't take action, you know, my mental health is going to go into turmoil. If I don't face my fear and stuff. So I faced my fear, I took action. And this is why sometimes bad things happen. There's no such thing as bad things. Everything is good. We're the ones who label it bad. And there's some people who are really critical of the events. But I have to say, stop criticizing your events and other people. People spend way too much time on the internet criticizing events and other people. What could be avoided? Why isn't this happening? Check out the Hermetic principles, okay? Because that's what the law of assumption doesn't just exist on its own, okay? It's in alignment with the Hermetic principles. And one of the Hermetic principles is the law of rhythm. Ebbs and flows of life, yin and the yang. You can't have one without the other. You can't have the good without the bad. I'm sorry. And so like I say, I'm honest with you on this channel. You're going to experience bad things. Doesn't matter how great a person you are. Doesn't matter how great your self-concept is. Doesn't matter how successful you are at manifesting. Doesn't matter if you're Neville Goddard himself. You're going to experience negative circumstances and hardships, losses, deaths, destruction. You're going to experience that because it has to exist in harmony with the good. It's two sides of the same coin. It's the same thing. But you see, one drives us into action more than another, right? Feeling good is a feeling I want more of. Okay, I'm going to do something to make it happen. Feeling bad, it's a feeling I want less of. Oh my God, I'm going to take action to lessen this, to get away from this. And this is how God, your higher self, is moving you. like a puppet, okay? And I'm being moved. If I don't like what's happening, I'm going to do something about it. So I did a lot of things about it. I changed. The reason why I've become as successful as I have, created a nearly, not quite there, 6-figure business, got my home from, I was not able to feed myself, right? Thinking I was going to lose my home. That's where the bridge took me on this, to now financial security I've never known. Owning a period property, 1870s cottage in London, nearly mortgage free, and ready to buy my second property now, you see, in a relatively short space of time. What is that, year and a half now? So it's not about bad things not happening on your bridge of events. Your bridge is going to throw stuff at you that makes no sense. Don't try to judge it, guys. Don't try to force it and manipulate it and to change it and to micromanage it and to then go into manifesting the middle. Leave it alone. It's perfect, and it's working out perfect for you, like it was working perfect for me the whole time I didn't know. And when I finally set my intention of what I wanted in my perfect person, and I had the clarity of what I wanted, I want them to be the same level as me, have their own business as well as me, to have a home as well as me. I wanted them to be at the same level of maturity and financially and in every way. You know, same stage of life, ready to commit at the same time as I was. And so Joseph was the perfect amalgamation, so the word, of the two lists, my specific person and my perfect person, which then I was then led to set my videos up, to make my channel, to produce on my channel, to then have someone say to me, why don't you do a collaboration? For then to me be moved to be like, well, I messaged Joseph before, I didn't get a response, but you know what, I'll message him again, and this time I'm going to use Instagram. For him to then get moved to actually check his messages, and for us to then talk. And there's so much more to this story. I could go on and on because the bridge was really incredible. But you see, my living in the end, me living in the state of the wish fulfilled, was me just getting on with my life. Think about every single one of you have manifested your specific person or a person into your life. Consciously or unconsciously, you've all done it. You didn't know it was going to happen at the time. A lot of you were sort of just living your best life. You were at a pretty good place in your life, and then bam, this specific person comes and everything is all in turmoil, and you're just like, oh my goodness. You see how that happened? You see how all of you are a specific person success story already? You know, all of you are a success in many ways. You just didn't know that you did it, but you were just getting on with your life. You weren't thinking about it. I wasn't continuously doing techniques. A couple of those imaginal acts by the sink. I can't remember if I did any more daydreaming after that. I can't recall. Like I said, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. But essentially that was it. And then I spent the rest of my time getting on with my life, planting other seeds and living my life. Because like I say, my bridge put me through some challenges, really did. Because it is only through challenges that we grow. I dare, you know, for those people who think that, just because you know your stuff, or you're a conscious creator, and yet you manifested that someone in your family got cancer, like, what's wrong with you and everything? You know, like literally there are some terrible judgments being made on people, horrific. And there are people who do not understand the law. We are going to come across undesirable effects. It's just that we're labeling them as undesirable, but they are perfect when you look at the bigger picture. And certain things, you know, we don't control, I'm afraid. The bridge, we don't control people, we just control the outcome. I will get my outcome reflected, even if my outcome is my SP saying that he loves me and he misses me. Guess what? He is going to be compelled and moved to repeat those words back to me. But I haven't controlled when he does it, how he does it, the lead up to him actually doing it, you know. That's your higher self is controlling all of us to move and to desire for things. If you don't desire to fix your old relationship and that, you don't desire it. No one says you have to fix it or do anything. It's not up to you anyway. It's up to your higher self. You know, if I don't desire to fix the person that I see on the street or something that's homeless, and I'm not desiring, I'm not going to be able to manifest for them if I'm not having that desire. You see what I mean? The desire comes from your higher self. So let's be less critical of people's desires and what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Pay attention to your desires. What do you want? Pay attention to obtaining, to having that already, rather than all the reasons why you can't have it. Don't make judgments on your 3D circumstances, because you don't know how this is unfolding. Also, just because my bridge took 4 or 5 years, Doesn't mean that everyone's bridges are going to be that amount of time. It doesn't matter how experienced you are with the law. You do not control the circumstances or time for that matter. I know that people say, oh, if you assume that all your manifestations come super quick, you'll affect time. If you assume that your manifestations come super quick, you're going to give yourself the experience that it's quicker. But it won't be necessarily, right? Unless, I mean, if I was two people who one assumed that, oh my God, but this could take a while, but they literally had no resistances, and one assumed that, yes, my manifestations always come within 3 days. Like, you've got some of these coaches who believe consistently it comes in 3 days, yet no one ever proves it to you on a consistent, regular basis. Here it is, every 3 days. Here's my Porsche in 3 days. Here's my new home in 3 days. Here's me in Spain in 3 days. You know what I mean? Here's my new specific person in 3 days. No one ever does that, because you can't, because we do not have control over that, I'm afraid. But you can give yourself the experience that time is passing quickly. We don't focus on time, but whatever time it takes, as in however many people need to be moved, however many bridges of events need to unfold, that will happen. But don't worry if there's distance. Don't worry if there's a third party. Don't worry if nothing in your life stayed the same. Think about it. Is there anything in your life that has stayed exactly the same all the time? Everything changes. Everything ebbs and flows. Everything is born and dies, right? It's always moving. It's not stagnant. It's not set in stone, right? So I want you to think of this as well. If you're looking at your obstacles and seeing them as mountains, and you're feeling unhappy because you're focusing more on those. This is about you and your well-being, and doing imaginal acts because it's fun, allowing it to impress because you can, with that acceptance, but also understanding that if some of you do have deeper set issues, that it might take more than a few thousand affirmations to change it. It might take more than an imaginal act to change it. It might take more than a bit of scripting. It might actually need that additional support. And I'm a big advocate of support and therapy and things like that too, and working with the mind, because you've got lifelong change as well. So be kind to yourself on this journey. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you want more information, so to make sure I don't trip on Cocoa Bean, come here, babe. Come here and say hi to, or say goodbye to everyone. So we're going to go in and make the most of, well, go out for a walk, I think. I said the magic word. Make the most of this sunshine. I love you guys. I'll see you all in the next video. And if you've got any questions, do let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you want truth about manifesting, you want to get success. See you all soon. Take care. Have a good weekend. Oops.